Welcome to the Main Event Sports Podcast. I am always as Brad.
And I'm Ethan, and we got some great fall ball for you. 3 different sports, actually 4 different sports we're going to be talking about today. And strap in.
Yep, pretty excited. But first, we should do our trivia answer.
Yeah, trivia answer this week. We have 3. Like you said, Devin Hester, which was back in 2007, was a good guess. But these 3 happened in the 2010s. The most recent one being in December of 2013. Jeremy Ross having both a punt return and a kick return touchdown, which was the question this week. What was it, the 3 most recent players to have a punt return and a kick return touchdown in the same game, as it has only been done 13 times in NFL history. But the most recent one was Jeremy Ross, and the second most recent one was Trendon Holiday for the Denver Broncos back in January of 2013 in the playoffs.
Oh, wow. Same year.
Same year, but 2 different seasons.
Yeah, very cool, very cool.
Yeah, and then 2011, Ted Ginn done it for the
49ers.
For the 49ers. Yeah.
I remember that game. Ted Ginn Jr. was always an electric return man. So many good years for the Dolphins and the Niners. Just a great, fun player to watch.
And the Panthers. He did a good stint with all these teams.
I forgot about the Panthers. Yeah, he really had a long career just as a return specialist.
Yeah, good career for him. But we now are going to get into our NBA players of this previous week.
All right, our top 3 performers this week. Starting with number 3, a new name to the list, really, Trey Murphy. Coming in, had a 41-point game in 38 minutes, 9 rebounds, and 3 assists in the win. A very impressive week for Trey Murphy, a guy who has always been a starter but never a superstar. Maybe this projects him, and maybe he starts having, this could be his year, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, Zion Williamson consistently not on the court, and Trey Murphy steps up for a team that needs it.
Absolutely. Coming in at number 2, talking about a team here that is not used to being in first place. We've got Cade Cunningham averaging 35.3 points this week, having a triple-double, and he's got those Detroit Pistons in first place.
Yeah, he loves to shoot the ball. I think he had like a record number of shots taken in a game this week. He shot a lot, and he made use of them, putting Detroit in the number 1 spot in the East is very impressive, as Detroit was definitely not projected to be that high in the East.
Not even close, so kudos to him. And our number 1 player of the week this year, you may recognize the name, simply known as the Joker, Nikola Jokic. 2 triple-doubles this week. Both of those triple-doubles coming with over 30 points.
He's impressive. Him and Russell Westbrook have really pioneered the triple-double culture, and I think it's really just effort on the court, as these 2 always give the most effort on the court.
Absolutely. Jokic is really a testament to that, because he's a big man and not a point guard. So the fact that he can do all that down in the post and on the wing is very impressive.
Yeah.
All right, and so we're going to talk about our games of the week.
I do.
All right, so some exciting games in the NBA coming up this week. The first game I have is Miami at New York. You're talking about 2 teams that are vying for that second place spot in the East behind the Pistons. The Knicks are really humming. They started out the year kind of slow, and now they're really on fire. And the Heat are the Heat. They're always there in the mix.
Yeah, doing it without Tyler Hero is something you should really commend. They had a great play this previous week where they threw up a last second. There was 0.4 seconds left on the clock. They throw up a lob, and then Andrew Wiggins takes it and throws it down. It was a great play drawn up by Spagnuolo.
Yeah, Spagnola's still there in Miami, still getting it done. And like you said, without Tyler Hero, who's not due back, he's due back this week, I think. So he may be back for this game, which makes this game all the more exciting.
Exactly. I think I would take the Knicks in that game. I think it will be a close game, though.
I'm a homer. I'm going to take the Knicks here, but I think it's going to be exciting, especially if Hero comes back.
Yeah.
He brings a whole other element to this Heat team, and it would be a fun game to watch.
I agree.
On to the next game. We've got Golden State at San Antonio, a classic rivalry game here in my book. You've got Wemby, you've got Stephen Curry, you've got the star power it should be a fun game to watch.
Oh yeah, some generational handles Steph Curry has just done in his entire career, and for Victor Wembanyama to do it as a center, the way he does it is really impressive. I really commend, like you said, these are two top stars. This is going to be a great game.
Yeah, I'm excited about it. I like San Antonio in this game. I think Wemby. Picked him at the beginning of the year as a dark horse MVP.
Yeah, he also had a couple good games last week.
He really did. He had a very impressive dunk this week, which he's going to get a lot of those this year.
Yeah.
And so for that reason, I'm taking San Antonio.
I'm with you on that one. Again, I think the Spurs win this game, but you can't count out the Warriors. They're always in that race, and I think they're going to be a fast team that's going to be hard for San Antonio to guard.
Yeah, I think it's an interesting clash of styles,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm excited to see it. And our final game of the week here, we've got Tyrese Maxey taking Philadelphia into Detroit against these first-place Pistons and Cade Cunningham.
Yeah, these two fighting for that scoring title this year. It's going to be a good clash for the top of the East. And I do think Detroit comes stumbling in this game, and I got the 76ers. But I do think a big note of this is Embiid going to play because they like to sit him for some games. But this is a game where you have to have him play. This is a must-win at the end of the season.
I agree. I think when you play against the top teams, your top players should be in there. And I think I'm on the fence here. I think if Embiid plays, Sixers win.
Yep.
If he doesn't play, I think the Detroit wins handily.
I could see that, yeah. And before we leave our NBA segment this week, we want to talk about the firing of Nico Harrison, the GM of the Mavs, or was the GM of the Mavs. Yeah, I think this was just I think this should have happened a long time ago, as the Luka trade was just not right. I think he thought that Doncic wasn't putting in the work, but Doncic has always been putting in the work, and it shows.
Yeah, I feel like it's a shame that we've just made the Lakers good again, because without Luka, they're irrelevant in my book. But with him, they are a contender for the West and for the championship.
Yeah.
And he should have been fired in the offseason.
Yep.
I think before you even made your draft pick, which they were going to take Cooper anyway, but I think you should have got rid of him and let a new GM come in and build the team around Cooper Flag the way he wanted it. That's the only gripe I have with it. On the flip side, I will say I do think going to the Lakers maybe motivated Luka, and he is playing some great basketball right now. Well, before he got hurt.
Yeah, I don't think Nico Harrison built a good team. A lot of people said Jason Kidd also should be fired, but I don't think so. Jason Kidd has always said that Nico's traded away his best players, and you can't really blame him for that. This team was built very big, and they don't really have a guard that can handle the ball and keep the ball safe. So turnovers is a big problem of theirs. I think this is a step in the right direction.
And let's face it, Jay Kidd is a fan favorite in Dallas.
True.
And you don't want to fire a guy like that unless it's absolutely warranted.
Mm-hmm.
I think he is the right coach for this team this year. And so, let's see what he can do with the new GM. Maybe they can make some moves at the trade deadline and see how Cooper plays out, obviously.
Yeah, I think he can grow with Jason Kidd. I think that's a good point.
I agree 100%. So that's our NBA this week. What's next?
Yeah, so we'll move on to college basketball, of course. We got a great game tonight. We have Purdue at Alabama. It's going to be a great matchup. Alabama coming off a win against St. John's, moving up in the rankings this week, going up against Purdue to prove if they can move up even further. But this Purdue team is really good. But this is Purdue's first test where Alabama's already been tested.
Yeah, Bama's been through the fire already. Purdue, like you said, is a great basketball team. I think where do they rank now? Number 3?
Number two.
Number two in the country. But I'll be honest with you, I just, on a gut feeling, I'm going with Bama in this game.
Wow. Yeah, I don't hate that. LeBaron Filone Jr. has been playing really well this season, leading his team in points and assists. This Alabama team likes to move fast, whereas this Purdue team, they can play like both sides. They can take it slow or they can move fast, which I think is why they're ranked so high, because they have multiple play styles that they can go into Fletcher Lawyer being their points game leader. But that may change as this is their first test.
Yeah, and like you said, I think Purdue probably is the better all-around team.
Yeah.
I think Bama's already been tested.
Exactly.
They're already in big game mode, and I think they might catch Purdue sleeping here.
Yeah, I could definitely see that. I'm going to go with Purdue, but I would not be surprised if Alabama surprises us tonight. Make sure you tune into that game on ESPN2. It should be a good one. But we'll move on to our next college game. And I think this one is even better. We have UConn at BYU. A great game between two teams. And I really like this BYU freshman, AJ DeBontis. I don't know how to pronounce his name, but he is really good. A really good freshman, averaging 19 points per game and 3 assists per game.
Yeah, these are two top 10 teams. And you got your freshman there, I'm not even going to attempt to say his name, who is a superstar. Interesting note that he came from Massachusetts all the way to BYU to play and overlooked UConn, and now he's playing against this top-tier team. UConn is number 3 in the country. Yes. And so it's an interesting game. I lean towards UConn in this game.
Yeah, they have the championship DNA. Dan Hurley is still there. He won back-to-back for a reason. Not just because he built such a great team, but because he's such a great coach. Up by like 50 or 60 points the other day. He's yelling at his team. He's full passion, and everyone knows that. That's why he gets the best out of them and makes them NBA players, as he's produced multiple NBA prospects now. And he has one in the making right now, being Terrace Reed Jr. He's a senior this year. He was really good last year, and he's leading them in points and rebounds this year.
Yeah, heck of a player. I do suspect we'll see him in the NBA. But back to Hurley, he reminds me of some of the great coaches. Bobby Knight was that way. He was always trying to find a way, even when his team was having the best game, trying to find a way to motivate his players.
Yes.
Coach K was the same way. And so I think that's what great coaches do. And that's one reason why I think UConn win another national championship this year.
Yeah, I like them in that national championship race. I like BYU in this national championship race as well. And one thing about UConn, though, is they like to drop one early in the season. I don't know what it is. They drop one early in the season. Dan Hurley gets his team ready for the conference play. I think they lose this one. I think BYU takes it in an upset.
Wow, I like your pick there. You think the freshman gets 2 laughs on UConn. I'm sticking with my pick with UConn in this game. I love college basketball. Can't wait to watch these games and see what happens this season.
Yeah, I'm glad they're giving us some good ones off rip. It is fun to watch.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and so we move on to our first time talking about college football. We're really getting down into it as it is November. This is where we are going to see who's going to be in that college football playoff, the new updated one. And the biggest game this week for the college football playoffs is Texas at Georgia in Athens. This is big for the SEC race, as the winner could be playing for an automatic bid and an automatic bye.
Yeah, getting down to the nitty-gritty here, it's getting really exciting, and I think this is Texas' make-or-break game.
It is.
I think if they lose this game, they're out, and I think it cements Georgia in the playoffs if they win. Great matchup. And you got the sophomore quarterback in Texas. I forget his name. What's his name again?
Arch Manning.
Yeah, I think I've heard of him before, right? So it's going to be a lot of pressure on Texas here. I think Georgia is the team to beat, though, and so I'm going to roll with the dogs this week.
Yeah, this is a great quarterback battle this week, and I don't hate that pick, but I'm going to go with Texas in the upset.
Oh.
Georgia hasn't looked the best. I think Texas is the hotter team right now, and so that's the reason why I'm picking Texas. I'm really just kind of pulling for the upset here. I want to see some drama in this college football playoffs.
Hook 'em horns, I guess, right?
Yeah, go Texas. And that's really the only game that we're going to talk about in college football, as it is the big game this week.
That's right.
Yeah, where it's make or break for Texas. And Georgia can lose this game, but that means they really have to win out and hopefully win in the SEC championship.
Yeah, big game. All eyes on this game this week. It should be a fun one to watch.
Yeah, that is the game to watch. So we'll move on to the NFL now, one step up from that. And while we have some games this week, a lot of games that are going to determine these division winners. Our first game being a big one between Buffalo and Tampa Bay, and this game is at Buffalo, and Buffalo being the favorites.
Yeah, we talked about this game in our last episode. We think these two teams are evenly matched. I think basically both quarterbacks are having MVP seasons. You know, if I were to pick one or the other, I would pick Josh Allen. But I think Baker has the better supporting cast. Although his running back is doubtful to play in this game, I'm going to go with the Bucks here on a big win. But it wouldn't surprise me if Buffalo rallies the troops here and wins a ball game.
Yeah, I like the Bills in this game in a little comeback game. I don't think they lose against Tampa Bay, especially at home at Buffalo. Buffalo really needs to prove it this week. Both these teams need to prove it this week.
I agree. I'm going with the Bake, and you got the Bills.
Yep, and so we're going to move on to a 4 o'clock game. We have Seattle at LA against the Rams. This is one of those games that's going to determine the winner of the division.
Tough game right here. In my book, these are the two best teams. Or right now, they're playing the best football, these two teams.
Yeah.
You've got two MVP quarterbacks. You've got Kyron Williams and Puka Nacua versus Jackson Smith and Jigba. I mean, this game has got offense written all over it. Except for both of these defenses have been playing outstanding as well. We saw what DeMarcus Lawrence done last week. We saw what the Rams have done all year with Jared Verse and Cameron Curl and Byron Young and those guys. And
Yeah,
so,
Seahawks, Leonard Williams, it's two great defensive lines going at it this week, and two underrated defenses.
yes.
Yeah, like you said, great offenses, great defenses. I will take Seattle in the upset this week. I think this is a really good game, but I think Seattle's hotter right now, and I think the player who is the game changer is going to be Jackson Smith and Jigba. I think the battle between him and Nacua this week, the wide receiver battle, is going to be big. I think Jackson Smith and Jigba really submits his MVP race candidacy, as if he's still on the path to hit 2,000 yards this year, you can't take him out of the MVP race because he'd be the first receiver to hit 2,000 yards.
Certainly, I feel like if he does that, he should be the MVP. Unless, of course, Jonathan Taylor breaks a touchdown record too.
Yeah,
and then maybe you may co-MVPs this year. I don't know what you would do there.
Yeah.
Both these guys are having monstrous years. But back to the game. I like the Rams in this game just because I like their defense a little bit better.
Oh, wow.
And so I'm going Rams here.
Yeah, I don't hate you. Rams are still my Super Bowl pick for the NFC. I think they can win the Super Bowl. I just think they dropped this one game.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. So we'll move on to the next game. Another 4 o'clock game. Kansas City at Denver. Another game that could determine a winner of a division here. I don't know, this is offense versus defense, but I think what it comes down to is, can Denver score on the Kansas City defense? I think that's going to be a struggle for them. So for that reason, I am going to take Kansas City in a lower scoring game than I think people are going to think. I think it's going to be in the teens.
I think this is a great game, a classic matchup. Makes me think of the Elway versus the Marty Schottenheimer days. I really am going to be tuned into this game. Mahomes versus that defense. And can the Broncos just generate enough offense to win this game? You like Kansas City, and for that reason, I'll go with Denver in this matchup. But I got to say, if Mahomes gets to rolling on this defense, I don't think the Broncos can keep up.
Okay. Yeah, that's a good pick. So next we will go with our Sunday night game. We've been getting a lot of great Sunday night games this year. Detroit at Philadelphia. This could be the winner of the NFC here, whoever wins this game.
Monster game here. You got Jared Goff, who's just been humming here lately against this Eagle defense that looks new and improved since the bye week and the new additions.
Yeah.
And then you've got always Saquon Barkley, who's a threat, and Jahmyr Gibbs, who's a threat. Two very similar players there. Should be a lot of fun to watch this game. I think I'm going Detroit here in this game. I think Goff is the better quarterback than Hurts, and for that reason, I like Dan Campbell. Let's just be honest. Motor City Dan Campbell for the win for me.
Yeah, I don't hate that pick. I think the determining factor of this game is the Eagles' offense versus this Detroit defense. I think both of these parts of these teams have been the inconsistent part of these teams. Um, and which one do I think is hotter right now? I think Detroit's defense is on a roll right now.
Yeah.
And so that's the reason why I'm going to go with Detroit, whereas the Eagles' offense kind of still looking stagnant. They kind of got away with a win against Green Bay. I don't think you can do that against this Detroit offense. I think they're going to be putting up too many points. I don't think the Eagles can keep up with them.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. I think both teams will struggle. And I think the team can protect the quarterback better wins the ball game. But in this instance, I'm taking the Lions.
I mean, these are two amazing offensive lines, so I'm going to give the benefit of doubt to the offensive lines. They're really good. So the last game on the list being the Monday night game, Dallas at Las Vegas. I'm going to keep this one short and sweet. Dallas offense is going to be scoring a lot of points. I'm taking Dallas in this one. They are slight favorites as well.
I do think Dallas rolls in this game. I just don't think the Raiders played really good last week, but I don't think they can keep up with this offense, and certainly their offense cannot score with Dallas's. And so I think this game could be get out of hand early.
I completely agree, and that's the games that we're going over in the week 11 of the NFL. A lot of great games this week. Chargers, Jacksonville is going to be a good one. Carolina at Atlanta. Can Atlanta get their comeback against Carolina, who shut them out last time? Chicago at Minnesota could be playing for that final wild card spot.
Yeah.
Like that's up in the air right now. You got Chicago, San Francisco, Minnesota. So a lot of teams fighting for that position. It's going to be big this week.
Yeah, I think that's going to be a great game too. I really like the way Caleb Williams has been playing, and I really like how Minnesota has been clicking as well.
Yeah, two good teams. The two teams on bye this week were the Colts and the Saints. The Colts getting a much needed rest, and the Saints figuring out some things.
Yeah, they get to go in on the bye on a win, which is nice.
That's good.
And good for morale, and so see how they come back after this week.
Yeah, and so we got to move on to our fantasy boom or bust of the week, and I'll start off with my boom. It's a defensive boom this week, as I always like to do. I'm going to go with the Texans defense against Tennessee. I don't think this rookie quarterback can score on this good defense. I think there will be a couple of turnovers. They're projected 23. I expect them to get 25 plus.
Gotcha. I've struggled with this. I've had a lot of booms in mind, but I think I'm going to stick. I like Aaron Jones against the Bears this week. I think they unleash him a little bit.
Yeah.
He gets the ball a little more in the flats, and they run him a little more. I think he has a big game this week.
I think he's done really good coming off the injury, and they've used him very well as not giving him the ball too much, so he's getting a lot of yards after he gets those touches as well.
Yeah, and I think this week they give him a little bit more, and I think the Vikings win that game because of Aaron Jones.
I think that's a good prediction. My next prediction is going to be a little weird. I'm going with the kicker this week. I like Brendan Aubrey to boom this week against Las Vegas. As we said, they're going to score a lot this week. He's projected 9 points, and I expect him to get that at the minimum.
I got you. Okay, well, I'm going to stay in that same ball game here.
Okay.
And I'm going to go wide receiver George Pickens of the Cowboys. I think he's going to have a monster game. He's got time to rest up. I think the Cowboys are going to come out slinging the ball, and I think that he's going to have a huge game.
Yeah, big. I think it's a good one. And so that is our booms. So we move on to our bust. My bust of the week is going to be Kamani Vidal, still filling in for Amarion Hampton, and they will be going up against Jacksonville this week because they really need to step up this week. I think one way they can easily do that is get pressure on Justin Herbert and stop Kamani Vidal. It's going to be the two things on the bulletin board.
I got you. Okay, well, I think I'm going to go with my bust. And this is a tough one for me, but I think it's going to be wide receiver Cortland Sutton this week against Chiefs defense. I think they put enough pressure on Bo Nix that he just doesn't have a good game, and because he doesn't have a good game, Sutton doesn't have a good game.
It's a good prediction. He gets projected a lot of points and doesn't always live up to that. He's like that boom or bust type of receiver. And I agree this week's going to be the bust type of way.
Well, we'll see what happens, and that's our boom or bust segment.
Yeah, that's our episode for this week. And make sure and like and subscribe, and to, of course, leave a comment in the comment section. What did you think of the trivia question this week? What did you think of our boom or bust? And what do y'all have in these games? Like, these are some good games this week. Make sure to tune in.
Absolutely. Let us know what you think of our picks. Let us know what your picks are. We appreciate you, and deuces.